I would join bad gang. I would dye my hair blonde and draw a tattoo.
Yeah.
I would enter street and find myself a nice boy to have sex with. You raise those kids.
Hi, my name is Miriam Balogun.
Chinaze Pere.
Onyeka Mago.
Chinenye Adeleye.
Idara Peleo.
Teraki Men. I like to say that no one ever bloody asks a man this question.
I agree with her. It makes me itchy because when you see a man and he's striving in career, you don't be like, how do you manage the home front?
I just feel like for Nigerian women, we have our own unique problem because of like cultural expectations and also societal norms, because they tend to push more of the domestic responsibilities on the woman.
Because only one person has been handed the home front as per, it is the gift of life. Your true joy as a woman is your purpose is to handle the home. That is why this question bloody exists. And I think the question asks, which can you handle the career and the home front? Can you handle the career and the home front?
Women, like have to deal with unpaid care work, right? Men don't have to deal with that, right? You have to deal with like a lot of emotional, like you're nurturing everyone and you're taking care, and that consumes you as well.
Sometimes you even forget yourself.
Exactly. And so these things are not taken into account. And so that is why I believe it's hard for women to balance career and family.
A woman is required to hold the home front, make the meals, keep the home clean, keep the children fed, keep them well dressed, handle their assignment, take them to the hospital when they're sick, go for school play dates, go for everything. When was the last time anybody's father went to PTA meetings?
So when you speak about men, it's that men are in the 80s and in the 70s where it was that women weren't really working.
Someone will tell you, my mom took care of 10 children.
Yeah.
Why can't you? Just one child.
And you're in the 60s where women weren't doing so much as they are now.
Some people will even ask you that, is it just because of cooking? That's why you're complaining. All right. And that's why we always tell them, you enter the kitchen and cook for everybody. Then let's see.
People are always asking, and that child looks dead to you. Where's the mother? Where's the father? The other child did not eat to school. Where's the mother? Where's the father? That is why I'm always an advocate of giving custody. You are fighting for custody with the man. Okay, give him custody. Let him take his children. See if he doesn't come back begging. As a matter of fact, I would appreciate it if you don't come. Me, I want to go and remarry.
And dye your hair blonde.
I want to dye my hair blonde. I want to draw a tattoo. What's that song? I would join bad gang. I would dye my hair blonde and draw a tattoo.
Yeah.
I would enter street and find myself a nice boy to have sex with. You raise those kids.
You can't want a boss babe. You can't want a powerful woman and not want to make compromises on lifestyle.
True that.
It's not realistic.
As an adult woman who has had to carry her career with her life, I have now learned to outsource many things. I can't remember the last time I did my own laundry. I can't remember the last time I cooked myself a meal because I consider it a waste of productive time. It's insane, but when you look at the amount of things you have to outsource as a single woman so that you can focus on your career, you realize it's a very unfair question to ask a woman.
Women are like the cause of most of the issues that they have with their husbands not helping because they want to do everything alone. And like you said, it's because of societal norms.
You feel like, I'm a superwoman. No, don't touch my baby. It's my baby. I want to manage it all. And I see them drowning. And I'm like, call for help.
Mine is not 50-50. It's 100-100. Because when I was birthing that child, that's a whole 110 I was giving.
So the way it is, my mom was the one that had the upper hand in the marriage when it was financial, when I'm having financially. I'm using words because she's late, So she was very present. She was present for all of us. And she was also present at work. And she was also present at church. And I just used to wonder, this woman is such a super woman or human. And then I remembered one time, she felt so sick. And then she was trying to explain to me things she has gone through in life and how life has been hitting her hard and how she sometimes has to struggle. It hurts me every time. I told myself that, Chine, you're not going to be like this. You're going to, when it's time for people to help you, sit down, cross your leg. do it.
Yeah.
You get a nanny. If you need to get 5 nannies to work for you,
Yes.
get them. You can afford to pay. So for me, that's the first-hand experience I had to see this woman work so hard, but then she was crying inside.
You know, you hear some people saying that, oh, women age faster. It's because you live the work. Why won't you age faster?
I saw my mom be the powerhouse in a very different context. She was a housewife and she was the COO, like she was the chief operating officer of the house. And I saw her run that. And I saw how even in her doing that, it made me say like, like, this is never ever gonna be me.
Can never
Cannot be me. And I saw her even with all of that, like crash and burn.
Simply Simi, the singer. One time she came online and she ranted about nobody talks about how difficult it is to raise a child and how your career just derails. And people were like, nobody asked you to. You could have not had kids. I'm like, don't you see the bloody problem with that answer? The other day when she did the Arike cover, that was we're like, everybody get luck say Simi not take music serious, so she for don't pass Ira Star and this person. I was like, she bloody did. She had a kid.
Remember when I had my baby? I had to go off work because it felt like I had mom brain. I was forgetting things. I was constantly arguing with my boss. He would tell me, oh, I told you this. I'm like, no, you never did. Maybe a few days down the line, I'll not remember that. You actually told me. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir.
And I think that's why a lot of women are choosing to not bear children. Because it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It is a lot. You cannot say that, oh, I'm going to skip this meeting because you don't have the liberty of choosing.
You don't.
If you look at the typical career, if someone takes a break to focus on like postpartum recovery, her male counterparts that were less qualified than her would go up the career ladder compared to someone that has been doing diligently, all because she's a woman.
I feel like the structures in Nigeria, when it comes to work, we should be more empathetic towards women that just gave birth. We should be able to give them more time to like recover and everything.
The system is rigged.
It's rigged.
You're fighting from a place of disadvantage, back to back to back. You get pregnant in a bank, in a bank, and they're already thinking of the next way to fire you. I saw on Twitter where a woman said that, oh, she got pregnant, and the first thing her boss said was that, what the fuck is wrong with you? We just hired you.
Tell me that's a legal case already.
The concept of even having to carry a baby for 9 months. It's a lot, to be honest. Sometimes I try to remove it from my brain because I don't want to remember the situation. And then having the child. When you have the child, yourself, you're very sore. Whether you have it through natural birth or a CS or whatever, you are sore. And then you have to take care of the child. And then you need time for yourself. You need to even just come back to yourself. I've seen some people that will tell me, oh, Chine, I don't even feel like myself.
Maternal leave is something that should be very
It
important.
should be a standard.
That is the only reason why any of us are alive. It's a very drastic process. You know, some women even die during childbirth. So of course, the ones that are able to survive it, why not just give them time for their bodies to heal and things like that? It doesn't take anything from society. That's the truth. When she comes back, she's going to bounce back stronger.
And after 2 years, I came back and I accelerated. I was not even waiting for anybody. I didn't want to hear what anybody was saying. I just wanted to, you know.
But Adekunle rebranded and it's like, oh, big fish. He's great. He's doing what? It's like when he became a father, he did really well. There is no. Can we also hold that same space for his wife that is doing
No way. Because they assume that her actual job in this life was not to make music. It was to have that child.
But this is the life I chose. Yes. So I cannot feel guilty for what I've decided to choose because I've decided that I'm going to have a beautiful family and I'm going to have a thriving career. I'm going to be a powerhouse. I can't be blamed for it.
Women need to learn self-preservation because men have an A1 in that thing. And that is why they will always be one step ahead. Because before a man will think of you, he will think of himself.
Even in breakups, they are like, oh, this relationship is not working. I'm done. Or you'll be thinking, oh, today's his birthday. Probably I'll do it by Christmas.
How can you tell me, Shine, I don't work? Stay automatic. How? In fact, it's a deal breaker for me. You understand? So I feel like as women, if your spouse or your intended spouse or boyfriend or fiance or whatever is not bringing up conversation, you sit down, write it, start. The questions I want to ask my man. Number one. Number one should be about your career. That's your life.
There was somebody I was dating one time that we're talking about marriage, and he said, I just know I never want to come back to an MCO. What does he mean by that? What he meant by that was I would have to give up my career to marry him.
That's interesting. I thought it probably was offering to buy dogs or cats. It won't be an empty home. By the time you call bingo, Skella, that's not an empty home.
This person thinks that women should not be working. They're not saying it.
They're not saying it, but that's what they're implying.
But that's what they are. That's really what it is.
After all I've done to fight for this career, I just know I don't want to come back to an empty home. I hope he finds the person that is perfect for him so that he doesn't have to come back to an empty home.
I can't fault anybody for walking away from that kind of situation, especially when you're dealing with a woman who her career is tied to her purpose. That is you asking her to give up purpose. And me,
It's miserable,
me, over my dead body
God
will
forbid
not
it.
happen.
I've also met women who are willing to say, okay, I want to be a homemaker. To each their own. I want to stay at home. I love children. I want to, homeschool the children, cook food. My issue is now when the dad becomes dead.
Me, I'd rather even be at work than be at home because there's always something to do at home, especially when you have like a child. Toddlers are not people that you
that's
just
managing the family. So that's,
next moment they are trying to jump down the stairs. You have to make sure you are looking at that toddler.
I want women to take responsibility for their own lives. And that looks like understanding that marrying just for love
Thank you.
is a joke. And understanding that marriage is a business decision.
It is.
You are negotiating what the rest of your life is going to look like.
Even from like when the girl child is just growing, the girl is never trained to dream big. I think now, of course, let's say there's a bit of progress, but you're not trained to dream big. Most of what our parents will scold us is, if you go to your husband's house, how will you manage?
I remember like when I was smaller, like in secondary school, I was telling my mom that I wanted to be a pilot. And sorry, my aunt, I was speaking to her about how I want to be a pilot and everything. She said, you are still in Nigeria. How do you want that one to work now? And will your husband allow you?
What has society actually done to women? I don't think women understand how programmed and how erroneously designed they've been. I don't think they realize it. When you sit down and you look at your life, you realize that you're literally just a puppet that is being controlled. I call it, women are an economy. And so when you're an economy, what happens is people design systems that can suck and take from you.
If the capitalism world was created with women in mind, there will be certain liberties, e.g. periods.
Why don't we have a period leave?
Because they say that, if I give you a period leave, will I give a man a period leave? So to just make me want to hire more men than women. But the problem is that the capitalist world was never suited for women. So basically, we are having to fight from a place of utter disadvantage.
And I've been in those situations where I've been asked, like I've been considered for roles and like being asked like, so when do you plan on getting married? Like, okay, so do you see kids in your future and all of that? I'm just like, dude, if you're going to give me the job, give me the job. Like, if you're not going to give me the job, let me go.
So for some people, marriage is an accomplishment. And I partly believe in that. It's true because it's hard to marry.
As a Christian, I believe that it's an accomplishment.
That's what God wants us for. It's companionship.
Yes.
We're not supposed to
come together. It's normal.
Bold of you to assume that I want to get married. Bold of you to assume that I want to shackle myself like that.
It's why we'll see like, who are the women in leadership? It's like they have 4 kids. They are married. They have husbands. Those are people that they trust with leadership.
When I was working as a production assistant for one of the largest Android, we're trying to shoot like a commercial for them. And then I was to oversee catering of some sorts. And like the sound guys, everybody, well, I'm like, we can't have lunch yet because we've been shooting since morning, they've had breakfast. And then the man came to me and they're like, I want food now. I'm like, no, you can't have it. And do you know what the other people were saying? I'm not meant to talk to him like that. I'm a woman. I'm like,
I had made the introduction for the man to actually come into the company. And he was being paid twice my salary. And I was literally grooming or teaching the man like what to do. How do you react?
How can I be working in the same office with somebody? We're doing the same job site, and you're paying me less. That doesn't make any sense.
I tried to make a case, like get myself a raise. It wasn't happening, and then I left.
You
people make it seem like they hire women based on diversity and inclusion, but you know you hired that woman based on merit. In your deepest of the deepest of heart, you know that in that interview, she slayed it.
Number one, as a woman, you need to know how to negotiate.
Yep.
Negotiate your salary. Don't be afraid. If you want 5 million, say it.
Say it.
If they can pay you, they will pay you. If they cannot pay, they'll say sorry. What we can afford is 3.5. Do you want? You understand? So it's very important that in the corporate world, you're coming in hot.
Reorder your systems to accommodate women. Reorder your budgeting to accommodate these leaves. Reorder your work structure to accommodate these situations where a woman might need time off for certain things.
Yeah.
Look at period breaks the same way you look at malaria.
Fellow women, your fellow woman is not the enemy. Someone is pregnant does not mean that you should start now pitching for their position. Oh, you know she's about to give birth. You should be ashamed of yourself that you're even thinking about that.
See, single women,
Don't do that.
it's single child-free women. It seems like you are having an amazing time now because you're not shackled by marriage and children. Or find it in you. I'm not saying if he had, but chook your hand inside the deepest of your stomach, and find that grace for women who have married and had children.
Yeah.
Find it. Search for it.